Time for the main event!
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. We got patch 1.05 live for WWE 2K26. Let's go over to the main website, the official site, and let's look at these patch notes because it doesn't fix things that desperately needed fixing. So let's look at what it did fix, and then let's look at the community because they've had a huge list of things that haven't been fixed yet. So yeah, let's go check out these notes. All right, here we are over on the official 2K website for patch notes 1.05. It says this update is live on March 18th for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Steam, and will come to the Nintendo Switch 2 at a later date. More on that in a second. It says general stability and performance improvements. Gameplay addressed reported concerns over the referee placement during matches. I actually have had issues with that during my Rise and exhibition matches where the stupid ref would just get in your way. Like I'm trying to punch my opponent and they literally run right in front of me, and I've clobbered him a few times and got disqualified. And so the next match I turned off DQ and I just beat the tar out of the ref. I'm like, yeah, that's what you get. And then online stability improvements. I'm guessing for that, it's just your better connection to the island, better connection to my faction. I can almost guarantee you that it does not fix the PvP aspect of the game, which a lot of people, it's been like that for 20 years. The game's never going to get fixed online. They have to bake it into the game's code, and they don't have time to do that. So we learned that from Ultra Pro Wrestling. All right, so let's go over to the community, and let's see what you guys have to say, because there's quite a few things that are broken and need fixing that I was not aware of. Let's go check it out. All right, over on X, Status posted this list of things that still have not been addressed, and it's actually kind of sad the fact that the game's been out for, I want to say 2 weeks now almost. Well, a little over a week as far as the early access launch. Officially, I think it's only been out for, well, this Friday will be a week for the standard edition. So they've had plenty of time to fix these issues, but they're focusing on things like blocking all the cheesing that you can do in the modes, like the anti-cheesing of the RXP system, not being able to cheese the My Faction mode, which we'll get to here in a second. Anyways, let's look at this list. It says Creation Suite. Cannot rename custom attires. Cannot assign custom attire renders to player or characters. That sucks. Downloading a Create a Wrestler equipped with custom crowd signs crashes the game or boots the players back to the main menu. Movesets fail to apply to custom attires, reverting to default during gameplay. Custom side plates remain broken and fail to display correctly. LED boards in Create an Arena continue to glitch. The one thing they added to the Create an Arena is broken. That is extremely sad that they, for crying out loud, if you're going to add something new to the mode, you got to make sure it works good because you advertise that as the big new marquee thing for the mode. And if it's glitchy, that's not a good sign. Gameplay. Walking past scattered thumbtacks triggers a collision bug that causes a superstar's head to spontaneously bleed. I find that more comical than an issue, but I understand. Certain tag team animations remain exclusively locked behind heel or face, unnecessarily cutting options in half. Now, I was wondering why there was so lack of options when I was creating my tag team of Mai and Clint Streiser. This explains it. I had no idea that they cut it in half. That is ridiculous. Because there's 7 options. I was like, well, where did all the options go? They had way more last year. Well, for some reason, they've cut them in half to heel and face. Hopefully that's a glitch, and they undo that, because that's absolutely ridiculous to me. They should add a lot more, but not... Ugh. Anyway, presentation. Entrance nameplates incorrectly display internal menu numbers for alternate character versions showing Kane 98 instead of Kane, or just Kane. I feel like a nameplate shouldn't be that big of an issue, but I guess little things might annoy you if you're trying to recreate the actual, televised matches and stuff. I know a lot of people are into that, but for me, I could care less about the nameplate, but that's me. Online instability, crashes and disconnects continue to happen during online multiplayer matches. Yeah, like I was thinking, the online stability improvements are literally just to make sure you don't lose your connection to the online shops, to your My Faction, because nothing will kill a mode for you more than spending an hour or two in a mode, having you lose connection to the internet for whatever reason, or the game crashes, and then having to redo all of that crap that you don't want to do in the first place all over again. Like there was that super hard match that they had for my Rise live event, and it kept glitching out on people. I am shocked people kept trying to get it done. Like, I would have given up after the first crash. I'm like, nope, I don't care anymore. Bye. I never would have played the mode again after that. Nothing will make me quit a mode more than the game wasting my time with glitches or bugs. Like, difficulty is one thing, but I'm talking about, like, if you're working your butt off trying to enjoy a mode that you're not enjoying, right, or just trying to get through the mode, and then it crashes on you to start all over, no, I'll never play that mode again. And that'll make me drop your game entirely if the whole game breaks. So the older I get, the more picky I am with this kind of stuff. So right now, I have no desire to play my faction, and I had no desire to play it last year. There's nothing really wanting me or incentivizing me to play the mode. So for you guys that play my faction, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry that these things keep happening. Anyway, now on to the Switch 2 specifics. It says community creations remain split from PS5 and Xbox Series X. Now, there's supposed to be a big patch coming to the Switch 2 version on the 30th of this month, which is quite a ways away from today's date. So if they're going to wait for everything to patch that day, that's going to be a huge issue. Everybody who buys the game up until that point to use cross-community creations is basically going to want a refund for the game because something they've advertised that's literally on their websites is not there. Now, there's official things over on their support page saying it's deactivated currently. Well, you need to get out in front of that and say it's currently deactivated for this XYZ reason. And people will be like, well, I'm not going to buy the game then. Well, they're going to return it. They're going to get their money back if something that's advertised within the game is not there. And also, they finally got the image uploader working, so you can create wrestlers like you can on other systems. You just can't use cross-community creations yet, which is ridiculous to me, because what's the holdup? I have a feeling it's something to do with Nintendo and how they approach, community-driven creations and stuff like that. They want to make sure that there's a system in place. They're probably having to create a system that monitors adult content to protect their user base. I'm guessing that's what's going on. That's why it's taking longer on the Switch 2 version, because Cornell Gunther made a post saying that Nintendo has more restrictions on that kind of stuff than the other platforms do. So my guess is that the reason why it's taking so long for the Switch 2 to enable this is because they advertised this, they thought they could just get it to go, and Nintendo's like, no, you got to have all this stuff in place to make sure that our users are protected, because they don't want their kids, their user base, to be exposed to any adult content, because let's face it, in past games, some people have uploaded some pretty crazy stuff that I'm shocked got past their moderation. So they're probably having to design a special thing in place just for the Switch 2 version to make sure that kind of stuff does not get into the game. So keep that in mind. I have a feeling that's one of the issues why it's not there. So even after this is enabled, community creations, I have a feeling a lot of things will be blocked regardless. Like if there's a character with huge cleavage, or if there's stuff that might not look right or look wrong, it'll probably just block it out entirely, and you won't be able to see it on the Switch 2 version, which is crazy to me if you think about it. But that is what it is. So that's probably why the Switch 2 version doesn't have cross-community creations. If they axe it altogether, they're going to have to refund people their money or face lawsuits, because it was an advertised feature going in. People like myself who bought the version of the game to basically make my creations and then upload them to the server, download them on the PlayStation. That way I can make my creations on the go. If I cannot do that, then I'm going to get my money back, because that's the whole reason I bought the game. That's the whole reason I bought 2K25, and they were really quiet about that during the 2K25 build-up for the Switch 2 version. I was just going to assume that it had all the features that the other versions did, and it didn't even have an image uploader, and it didn't have cross-communications, and they never enabled the cross-communications with 2K25. So that version of the game was pretty much pointless and useless to me, but I kept it because I could play wrestling on the go. It was a great version of the game, despite all of that. If you just wanted to play with the in-game wrestlers, it ran really well, it played really well. Now, the Switch 2 version of 2K26, so far, so good, but I haven't played it as much as the PS5 version because, let's face it, PS5 version to me, on the Pro, is probably the best version of the game that is out currently. No major issues there, but yeah. I would literally switch in a heartbeat, no pun intended, like I said earlier, to the Nintendo Switch 2 version if it was just on par with the other consoles. Like, if they can get it perfect next year, I might just switch, no pun intended again, to the Switch 2 version because I like being able to play anywhere that I go. And then having everything at your fingertips, making sure you keep up with things, stay on top of the game. I can get through the modes faster. I could talk about the modes faster on X and whatever. Yeah, although it doesn't look as good, but I can live with that if I can do everything else just as good. So, there's that. So those are the patch notes for WWE 2K26, patch 1.05. Real quick, before we end the video, we're going to look through some of the comments because some people have found some other things that got patched that you can no longer do. There was this one post, I can't seem to find it again while I was making the video. I found it when I was doing research for the video. They said that there's a ref glitch that you can do in My Faction where you basically throw your opponent into the ref, if I'm understanding correctly. I'm sure you guys that play My Faction know what I'm talking about here. Well, it seems like that has been patched out. So there's no more cheesing the ref in My Faction. So far, all of the patches have been geared towards making sure you cannot cheat the modes that they want to make money from. First major patch was to block you from cheesing matches to get RXP. This patch seems like it blocks the My Faction cheesing. So there's no cheese. In fact, the thumbnail will be probably CM Punk holding a big thing of cheese. So let me know what do you think of that, because that seems like a really funny thumbnail. Anyway, so there you have it. Those are the patch notes. What do you make of these patch notes? Are you annoyed that they keep just focusing on stuff that makes them money? Do you think they'll fix everything else? Because sometimes they actually do. Like, yeah, they were really good last year, but this year it seems like they're 100% focused on making sure that you can't cheese the system. And that's not a good look for these games. So, yeah. As always, thank you for watching, and stay frosty.